What is a complete human? Is it a cover model? Is it a science geek? Is it a fitness expert? Or all of the above and more? Jana and Evan are crusaders that walk the earth looking at today's issues that touch our hearts and minds. The honest and hopeful outlook on the advancement of today's society. The science behind the decay of human relationships. The necessary preparations for future generations. Join us as we look deep inside ourselves and embark on a journey into becoming a complete human.
What the hell is a microbiome?
Great question. Lots of people ask me that all the time. So the digestive system is made up of your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach, your small intestine, your large intestine. The gut microbiome is essentially all of the, I call them critters, but all of the critters that live inside of your digestive system. So that's going to be bacteria of all kinds, fungi, viruses, cells, the trillions of different microorganisms that all live in Darwinian competition with each other. So you have all kinds of these different critters living in there, all trying to survive, and they're pushing on each other to figure out, who stays, who grows, who doesn't. And so much of what makes gut microbiome health important is just making sure that you have a diverse microbiome where you have a little bit of all different kinds of these critters living in there. But it's basically those microorganisms that live in your digestive tract.
Interesting.
And of course, there's with the microbiome and with all these bacteria, there can be an overgrowth of some, and that causes issues, right? So how do people actually find out if they have a good or a bad microbiome?
Yeah. We talk about good and bad bacteria, but in reality, it's not so simple. Let's say we'll pick one like E. coli. You say, all right, you don't want to have too much E. coli is bad. And that's the case, but not enough or no E. coli is bad too. So it's like you mentioned, it's all about balance. It's all about knowing, do I have enough of the protective ones versus the invasive ones? And how do you know that? Well, there are a variety of different ways. Obviously, with our test, and the Excella test is a pinprick blood test that looks at certain key nutrients that are either spat out by certain bacteria in the gut, both the protectives as well as some of the more invasives, and other nutrients that are taken in when you eat, and they're digested, and then ultimately they get absorbed through your small intestine and then spat out into your into your blood, into your systemic circulation. But you can measure these molecules, and they can tell you ultimately, do you have enough of the protective, the more positive bacteria, or do you have too many of the more negative bacteria, and thus you need to go and adjust the quote dysbiosis. So that's the word we use, is the dysbiosis. So that's one type of test. I mean, there are other types of tests, breath tests of different types that tell you if you have bacterial overgrowth. There are different types of tests on the market depending on what problem you're specifically trying to address.